strange still, every loading and unloading adds cost to the journey, which need to be made up for with the lower cost per mile of the ship. Of course,
I hate these things. There we go.
Distance travelled, and well, that's not like a truck would work anyway. But to access the market of China, cargo rail could be incredibly competitive, and that would work to advantage the country both ways as well. More competitive exports to China and cheaper imports from China. Now, of course, all the geopolitical experts that we spoke to through our team of Context Matters said the same thing, which is that despite these advantages, China doesn't want this to happen because it puts a major potential adversary right on their border. But the purely economic benefits would be undeniable for both countries. Accessing more resources would be great, but arguably the bigger win would be the resources that are not wasted. South Korea has one of the largest and best funded militaries in the world. Every year it spends close to 2.7% of its GDP on military expenses, and that's on top of the forced conscription of all South Korean men, which takes productive labour out of the economy for 18 to 21 months. As a somewhat humorous side note to a rather grim issue, members of the Korean boy band BTS were also forced to do this service at the absolute height of their popularity. Given the huge domestic and growing international demand for Korean entertainment, this enlistment was estimated to cost the South Korean economy as much as the equivalent of $5 billion US. Now, that may be very impressive, and honestly, good on them for not thinking they're above their fellow countrymen. But every year, hundreds of thousands of Korean men are made to do this service, and they could be producing value for the economy, getting an education, or starting a family. Collectively, that will be costing far more than even the almost comical loss sustained from losing a boy band for a year and a half. Of course, the reason they don't do away with this practice, despite its huge economic costs, is because the country is still technically at war with its nuclear-armed neighbour to the north. Heightened military readiness also costs the comparatively far smaller North Korean economy a much larger relative share of their total output. The small disclaimer here is that reliable sources are much harder to come by for North Korean economic and military figures, but their defence force conservatively accounts for 33% of their total economic output, similar to the expenditure of Ukraine, which is currently involved in an all-out war with a much larger military power. If these countries were unified, things like forced conscription and crippling defence spending could be reduced to rates in line with their international peers, leaving a lot left over to improve the everyday lives of the country's citizens. Again, this is assuming that these current military tensions wouldn't just be traded for tensions along a slightly more northern border. Now, another advantage is simply manpower, which in a way would be the biggest opportunity and the biggest threat to the potential future where North and South Korea come together. South Korea has a rapidly ageing population and the lowest birth rate in the world. The country also hasn't been very attractive to migration because not many migrants looking for a new place to live and work know Korean, the opportunities there are not as attractive as other major advanced economies, and historically the government has been quite resistant to migration anyway. North Korea could offer a boost to the south in this area because their population is a lot younger. Now, unfortunately, of course, the reason their population skews younger is in no small part due to malnutrition, poor sanitation, lack of access to healthcare, and of course the role of the state. As tragic as the reasons are, bringing the two countries together could potentially solve two of the most existential problems in the north and the south, extreme poverty and an ageing population, respectively. The average age of a North Korean is nearly a decade younger than the south, which means that they could take over a lot of jobs as people in the south get too old to work or look after themselves. Get North Korea up to a point where it wouldn't be a drain on the south would be massive. But from this perspective, it could almost be seen as a retirement plan for the rapidly aging population. Birth rates in both parts of the country would also likely improve as people in the north have to worry less about where their next meal is coming from, they'll have more time and resources to safely start a family, and people in the south will be helped along by the new opportunities that will come with an economic project this fast. But unfortunately, that positive note reveals the biggest issue of all. East and West Germany struggled to equalise a population that was already far more equal than North and South Korea. The population in the north may be significantly younger than the south, but they're more than a decade behind on average in education levels. East and West Germany had that gap as well, but the East was still an industrial economy, thanks to a strong focus on heavy industry, perhaps at the expense of everything else that the Soviet economies had. Workers in the East could be given updated tools and some basic training and pretty much get straight to work doing what they were doing before. Of course, that's massively oversimplifying things, but at the time, they were both basically just manufacturing economies in different stages of development. South Korea, by contrast, currently has hundreds of thousands of young workers with advanced degrees and educational levels that put most people in the world to shame, that are struggling to get even basic jobs. North Korean education is surprisingly decent, but it's not at the standards that would be expected in most major industries in the South. Should a doctor with a degree from Kim Il-sung University Medical School be allowed to operate in a country famous for its medical prowess? If they are, what happens to one of the largest export industries in the country if they badly hurt or kill a patient? If they are not, then the new country country will have a third of its population unemployed while they retrain, which is a process that could take decades and completely undo any of the demographic advantages of bringing the countries together. Now, of course, economics is an important consideration for this issue, but it must be remembered that economics at its core is not about employment, budgets, debts, trade deals, or even productive output. Those are all very important, but ultimately just a means to an end. Economics is really about how people interact with things of value, and hopefully the world sees the opportunity to end one of the fiercest global tensions fueling unimaginable human suffering as a worthwhile endeavour, even if it does come at a financial cost. But unfortunately, it's unlikely to be a reality that's useful for anything other than an economic case study anytime soon.
Let's do this!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Fazbear Entertainment would like you to put your hands together for the one, the only, Freddy Fazbear.
DPR Korea is true Korea. What are you making over there? Okay. Yeah. I thought you were making something good. Montgomery Gator! Oh, excuse me.
Without losing control. Of North Korea as new reports surface that Pyongyang is preparing for its next nuclear test.
North Korea is showing the world its new intercontinental...
Showtime already? I am experiencing malfunction. The recharge cycle is not complete.
Shh! Will you shut up?
Who said that?
I did! And down here.
Down where? I still do not see you.
Okay, listen. You were sleeping, so I opened the stomach hatch and climbed inside.
My stomach hatch? That place is reserved for oversized birthday cakes and piñatas. It is not a safe play area. There you are. Scanning complete. How odd. Your guest profile is unknown to me.
That's strange.
Who are you?
I'm Gregory.
Gregory. I will notify the main office. Huh. Connection error. I cannot connect to the main network.
It's her. She cut you off. She's not going to let you call for help until she finds me.
Who? Who is looking for you? Your mother?
Shh! I hear footsteps!
When it comes to what's in somebody's mind, that is the most difficult part.
That is the security guard. She can help.
No, I don't trust her.
Why not?
I don't know who she is, but she's trying to get me. Isn't there some other way for you to communicate with me besides talking so loudly?
Take this. It is a novelty Freddy Fazwatch.
The missiles and his weapons are now more powerful, more dangerous, more reliable, and more mobile. And that's what makes North Korea under Kim Jong-un a much scarier
What was that?
place.
I am sending you an encoded message. Hello, Gregory. It is me, Freddy. I friends. However, I am unable to leave this room. You should have no problem. There is a button on the wall that will open the door to the back room. I will make it accessible to you now.
Sanctions since the Korean War, and they've just gotten progressively tougher and tougher. So it's a real struggle, I think, for Kim Jong-un to push his country forward. This is a country that has chronic food shortage, isolated from the outside world. Kim Jong-un knows that in the long run, it's untenable for him to provide for his people.
To bring his country into the modern age and maintain his grip on power, Kim must lift the U.S.-led sanctions banning international trade with North Korea. In 2018, he makes his opening move.
On June 12th, in Singapore, I'll be meeting with Kim Jong-un.
Well done, Gregory. There is an open-air vent inside the maintenance room. You will have to climb through the ventilation system and release me from the outside.
In 2018, Kim leaves Korea for only the third time as leader, for a historic meeting with President Trump in Singapore.
Summit, it really was his big debut internationally. Kim Jong-un's coming out. Those were incredible scenes.
Your performance was perfect tonight.
A telling example of the image that he wants to portray.
Your hair is beautiful. Your tail is beautiful. Everyone was watching you.
Very charming, and funny, and flexible, and spontaneous. And
everyone wants to be you.
What we may have thought.
You are the best. Thank you. I am the best. I am the best.
That's not sketchy at all.
Your fans are watching you right now.
On the world stage.
I know.
National Security Advisor for President Trump. For me, it was almost surreal to think this was actually happening. Very clear in the meeting that Kim was very much in control. He was observing Trump very carefully. Early in the meeting, Kim asked Trump, "What do you think of me?" Just testing people like that shows a level of confidence. I mean, what do you think of me is an invitation to say, you're a tyrannical dictator.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for visiting, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Freddie and the gang are pretty tired, but they'll be back again next week after a few days of scheduled maintenance. Please make your way to the front of the building, where you will be given novelty glasses, a voucher for one free soda refill, and where you will sign a legal disclaimer releasing us of all liability for anything that might have happened during your visit. Have an awesome night, and we'll see you again soon.
Excellent relationship. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Kim comes prepared with a strategy for dealing with the American president.
these two leaders get together. And I have to say, what I saw, it looked like a bromance. His psychology, how to flatter him, and actually the North Koreans know how to do that very, very well. They're very formal. It was something that charmed President Trump that he got this massive handwritten letter.
I was mostly worried that Trump not give away too much, but there was discussion about joint South Korean-U.S. war games, as Trump called them, which he agreed to give up as a concession to Kim that none of us on the U.S. side knew was coming. Obviously made Kim very happy.
Thank you very much. That was really being tough. Seriously, we went back and forth, and then we fell in love. Okay? No, really. He wrote me beautiful letters, and they're great letters. We fell in love.
Himself as a legitimate world leader. He returns to his people a conquering hero.
The United States is North Korea's chief adversary. It is the central enemy. So if Kim can stand shoulder to shoulder with the U.S. that is of itself
Good job.
a victory.
Now, please come let me out.
Kim Jong-un can tell his people, we are taken seriously by the most powerful leader in the world. During the course of 2018, Kim Jong-un has proven himself to be very savvy and calculating in the way he has dealt with the outside world, luring Donald Trump out. Kim Jong-un kind of set off a race to meet him. Xi Jinping in China, nobody wanted to be left out. We suddenly saw this huge flurry of summits taking place, and it seemed like all of the leaders wanted to meet with Kim Jong-un.
North Korea is a very impoverished country, but it has nuclear weapons. Kim Jong-un can blow up half the planet if he chooses to in a major war. And that's what gives him a huge leverage that otherwise he would never have. When he met with Putin in Russia, Putin is very famous for meeting leaders across the world very, very late. Well, in Vladivostok, it was Putin who waited for Kim Jong-un. He wants to show the world that, you know what, even between friends, we have the upper hand.
But opening the secret Forbidden Kingdom to the outside world carries dangers for Kim Jong-un. At the start of his rule, he encouraged...
Way to go, superstar! I knew you could do it. I know how to get you out of here. Climb back into my chest cavity. There is still time, but we must hurry. If I am spotted, I will certainly be taken back to my room. I will escort you to the main exit through the utility. It is the safest path.
Okay, but you better be careful moving around. I don't want to be crushed and twisted into a meat pretzel.
김정은이에 대한 권력의 취향이라든지 거절을 했다. 이 조국을 위해서 도움이 되기 때문에 당신이 반드시 일을 해줘야 된다. 그러한 부분들 중에서 가장 핵심적인 것이 바로 이 핵 활동에 대해서 무슨 뭐 방사포가 있는지 핵관련 과학자 핵 시설을 담당하는 경비대원을 내가 미션을 할 때마다 어떤 그런
I am sorry, Gregory. I would love to do a tour, but it is closing time, and this door is locked. Look for a door with my icon on it.
아주 초정밀적인데 이런 그 시계 이 뭐라고 할까 이게 시간을 표기하는 뭐 도청 장치도 받았고 또 다른 만년필로 된 그 녹음기가 또 있습니다. 이런 것들.
Hello.
She's down here. We have to go back.
Do not worry, Gregory. Even if we are spotted, you are safe with me. She would never suspect we are traveling together. However, we should still do our best to avoid her. If I am sent back to my room, we will never get to the lobby before midnight.
상당한 고문으로 인해서 정말 엄청난 고통 속에 있다가
I feel you are broken.
Don't worry about it. I'm fine.
No. I feel that something is wrong. I am taking you to the first aid station.
There's no time. I'm fine.
그런 상황에 왔고 그때 한 6개월 동안에 조사받았던 그 고통스러움이 그 순간에 다 물거품이 되고 없어져 버리는 거죠. The agent was sentenced to 10 years hard labor.
Freddy, you're supposed to be on lockdown.
Officer Vanessa, I do not know how I got here.
Well, you totally blew it tonight, you know. Your system crashed and you ruined the show. Now, parts and services have you on reduced power. I said as a safety precaution. Just one more thing to deal with.
I apologize.
Okay. Look, we're like 15 minutes from closing and some kid is sneaking around backstage. If you see anything, notify me immediately. I already alerted the others. Now, go back to your room.
I told you she was after me.
I said nothing. I will keep you safe. Let us go.
제가 이제 워싱턴에 도착을 해서 대통령이라고 해서 어떤 분이 이제 올라오신다고 얘기했는데 나는 이분인지는 난 몰랐죠. 오바마 대통령 시절에 내가 붙들려갔기 때문에 오퍼레이션 쇼를 본 적이 없습니다.
Where are we?
We are now under the Pizzaplex. These utility tunnels connect all the attractions.
We can go anywhere in the building?
Correct. Fazerblast, Monte Golf, Roxy Raceway. They are all accessible to staff, with high enough clearance, of course. Guests are never allowed down here, but yours is a special situation.
Was excellent to these three incredible people. I really think he wants to do something and bring our country into the real world.
2019, Kim Jong-un sets out on a
Guess I'll have to come back. I'm on a,
Vietnam, and a second crucial meeting with President Trump. The prize, winning a deal to lift the economic sanctions crippling his country.
When he went to Hanoi, I think he felt very confident. He very unusually announced through the state media in North Korea that this summit was going to happen.
I am terribly sorry. The recharge cycle had not yet completed when I found you. You must continue without me. I will guide you on your fast watch in case you get into any trouble.
I don't know if I can do this alone.
I will be the one North Korean leader who shakes hands and signs a deal with the U.S. president. That was the promise Kim Jong-un made as he left the train station in Pyongyang.
On the first night of the summit, the two leaders meet for a dinner of North Korean steak, served well done for Trump and rare for Kim.
So this was the dinner before the summit the night before. Kim Jong-un looks very comfortable and confident, and he must have put on a bit of a show. President Trump read the story that Kim Jong-un told about how, yeah, he executed his uncle and then displayed his head for the rest to see. In this day and age, to see that kind of brutality, very much like the heads of those beheaded by Henry VIII were stuck outside the Tower of London. It's very interesting.
Boy, if you could have heard that dialogue, what you would pay for that dialogue, that was good.
I think it goes to show that Kim Jong-un, deep inside, wanted to reach out to Donald Trump in a way that no other leader had reached out to Donald Trump, which is, you know what, Mr. President? Let's talk about raw power. I will tell you what raw power is. I will give you an example of what I did to my uncle. Donald Trump respects raw power, and that's what Kim Jong-un wanted to emphasize.
There are a lot of great ideas being thrown about. I think very importantly, the relationship is, just very strong.
With the dinner
there might not be trophies for this game. Oh well.
Analysts say there is considerable pressure on both Trump and Kim Jong-un to come up with a more...
It's Chica. Maybe I could distract her with something.
They need sanctions to be lifted. Trump has got to come back with something more substantive than they got in June.
This area is that President Trump needed a foreign policy victory and that they would sign a deal. Kim Jong-un thought it was a sure thing. So they got down to the nitty-gritty of this nuclear deal, but it can quickly go sour.
Since opening gambit, Kim offers him a deal to shut down North Korea's largest nuclear testing site in return for the complete lifting of all sanctions.
Trump was not prepared to make a partial deal. He was prepared to make only the big deal, which is the complete elimination of North Korea's nuclear weapons program. But Kim kept pressing for his more limited deal. Like many communist negotiators, he's very good at saying the same thing over and over again. The Germans have a word for it. They call it Sitzfleisch, and it means exactly what it sounds like, that he'd just be prepared to sit there for as long as it took. So Trump and Kim went around and around. We could see the frustration that Kim felt that he wasn't getting through. So there came a point where kind of silence descended on the room, and lasted. And it was at that point, I think everybody realized this meeting is really over.
Astonishing. The second summit between the U.S. and North Korea is over. The headline here, no deal.
The two leaders motorcade rode away from the summit within minutes of each other.
Sometimes you have to walk.
They literally left the lunch on the table in Hanoi and went off back to their respective capitals. So I think it was a miscalculation.
Kim was very sure he could reach a deal in Hanoi. So on the long train ride back to North Korea, Kim Jong Un going to blame for this failure. Who will be the person who will fall by the sword?
Kim Jong-un was very angry.
There you are!
He left empty-handed under his increasing pressure on
God damn it.
At least 3 of his officials are thought to have been executed or purged as punishment. Kim was returning to the system of terror that has sustained his dynasty for 3 generations.
Oh, I can't even. What?
Where there is no fence.
I'ma figure this out.
A North Korean soldier called Oh Chung-sung, the top soldier in the Korean People's Army, stationed right along the 38th parallel. Creme de la creme are posted along the border. But he dashed across the line, running for his life. There you are!
To keep our highly trained security staff safe in the event of an emergency. As long as the doors stay closed, which they will, as long as there is ample power.
Freddy! The power's only at 15% and they're pounding on the door! How am I gonna get out of here?
Do not panic. You should see an interface on the security desk. Hold on while I make it accessible to you. There. You can now activate security protocols. Your Fazwatch is now connected to the security camera system. Those boxes on your minimap are nearby security cameras. When movement is detected by the camera's motion sensors, you should see red alert icons. Switch between the cameras to find a safe path out of the office and to the main lobby.
This particular video must have shown Kim Jong-un that security along the border was paramount because even the most trusted lieutenants were ready to jump ship. I think Kim Jong-un would have been very angry that the generals allowed this to happen under their watch. And I'm sure they were reprimanded and impressed for this.
To clamp down on a rising tide of defectors, Kim has increased border security and threatened would-be traitors with severe punishments. But the dictator remains torn between his allegiance to the family dynasty and the pull of his teenage years in the democratic West. Shortly after he took power, he tracked down an old friend in Europe.
Plötzlich waren Leute von ihm bei mir im Restaurant und haben eigentlich gesagt, ja, wir sind auf Anordnung von ihm da. Er möchte Sie gerne wiedersehen und können Sie morgen nach Nordkorea fliegen? Das war einfach wunderbar. Ich bin Joao Mikhailo, mach's halt geil. Also ich war früher in der Schule mit Kim Jong-un. War ich halt wirklich sein bester Kollege. Ja, wir haben sicher zusammen viel gelacht. Ab und zu am Nachmittag mal Videospiele gespielt oder irgendwelche Filme geschaut. Haben wir zusammen, also mit ihm habe ich angefangen zu rauchen. Das glaube ich schon, dass es ziemlich unbeschwert war und das wo wir losgefahren sind, war es ziemlich dunkel. Garage rein und ewig da rumgefahren und dann durch verschiedenste Räume und dann waren wir dann da.
Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizza Flex is now closed, initiating nighttime protocols.
Schon umarmt, dass ich gefreut gekommen bin.
When you spent your most formative years
No! Wait, I'm still here!
studying in Switzerland.
Now what am I supposed to do?
How unfortunate, Gregory. You missed your chance. But there is still hope. You should be able to escape when the security doors reopen. These turnstiles require a complimentary Pizzaplex entry pass. There should be one located near the main entrance.
He will never be able to have that life back again. But if he invites his childhood friend to come back to North Korea, it's like satisfying a part of his life that he yearns for, but he can never replay.
Dann haben wir eigentlich am Tisch über die frühere Zeit geredet und wie es mir geht, über mein Leben, weil er wollte halt wissen, was ich so mache oder was ich gemacht habe. Es war ein bisschen etwas koreanisch dabei, aber sie haben eigentlich vielleicht, um mir eine Freude zu machen oder vielleicht auch aus Angst, dass ich es nicht mag, es gab auch ein Fondue. Und dann habe ich mal so ganz schüchtern gefragt, ja, ob ich dann schnell eine rauchen dürfte. Und er gesagt, ja natürlich, wir haben zusammen angefangen, wir werden auch zusammen aufhören.
Kim's two meetings with the U.S. president had failed to deliver a deal on North Korea's nuclear arsenal. In June 2019, Trump rekindles the romance.
President Trump touching down in South Korea just a short while ago after having extended an apparently impromptu invitation to the leader of North Korea.
I just put out a feeler because I don't know where...
Well done, superstar. You have accessed the lobby. Unfortunately, that complimentary entry ticket does not allow you to enter the pizzeria. You can find an upgrade machine in customer service.
The meeting at the DMZ was...
So that happens.
And North Koreans finally do respond, and Donald Trump marveled that apparently Kim Jong-un follows me on Twitter.
breakdown of the talks in Hanoi, Kim Jong-un desperately wants and needs the opportunity to meet again with President Trump. Kim Jong-un needed some imagery to tell his people, things are fine, we're still friends, I've got it under control. The North Koreans would have loved imagery of Kim Jong-un slowly making his way to the demarcation line. President Trump was there more quickly, clearly more anxious to cross over to the North Korea. They would have loved that.
Alright, I think I'm gonna take a break for a moment.
The president wants to step into North Korean territory.
Be back in a while.